What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It's his I, James, readoptionagency.com, 22 years selling full-time on eBay. And today we're going to get into the test I started yesterday. So far, how's it going? What's going on with that? Something I'm going to start looking into because of this test. And I already did a little bit, but I'm going to pay more attention to it over the weekend. And how did yesterday's numbers turn out? And first off, thanks for the response to the test yesterday. Overwhelming response, more than I thought would happen. So much appreciated there. So we'll get into the findings thus far for that. But first, let's go into the numbers real quick on eBay. Again, eBay, I purposely did not print a morning scan form to try it at night. Again, third day in a row. Well, it's been 99% of the time since I started using eBay shipping that I cannot print up a scan form at night or in the evening time. Bulk label printing error. It's been going on for over a month now. Thankfully, it doesn't look like my numbers have really dropped, so I'm guessing that my post office has picked up their scanning of the packages. They used to be real slow on that process. So far it hasn't bit me in the butt, but the fact that this problem's been going on for so long, and it's an integral part of keeping your top rated status and such, it just kind of shows where the eBay website, the state of the eBay website is within the past 2 years. I mean, something that doesn't work for months on end. That's been a constant because there's some things that haven't worked for 2 years now. So, been on and off, not working. So, that being said, let's get into the numbers yesterday. Wasn't a great day. A little bit better than the day before by about $20. So only made it up to 567 yesterday. Let me check the split and see how that's working out. So the split was 11 organic, 25 promoted. And then what I'm going to be playing with for a little bit, and it doesn't look like it's going, from what I've played with it this morning, it doesn't look like it's going to be that great of a situation. That great way. I'll talk about it. But anyway, we are at 8:30 a.m. this morning. I've got 6 items sold, 4 promoted, 2 organic. There's only about 3 different, I think 12 o'clock hour overnight, maybe the 2 o'clock, and then the 5 o'clock had no sales. But at least there was spotty sales throughout the night. So that was a positive. And, even better than I thought. So as of 8:30, I've got $129. So that's a good start. But the last couple of days, my sales have been shutting off around 4 to 5 p.m., just shutting down. So I'm kind of expecting that to happen again today. Still, my percentage down is in between the 15 and 16%, which is saddening to say the least. Oh, and we got the top 5 because today is Friday. Yay, Friday. So we'll get into the week numbers too also. So let's check that out real quick because I am curious to see how the week has played out. Curious. And we are going to same period last year. All right. So at least the percentages are not as down. So for last week on eBay, sold $4,749.06. So I think that's a little bit up from last week. So that's a positive. Compared to last year, down 20%. instead of 45. So that's good. Quantity sold 309, down 17%. And I've been purposely listing higher dollar items and not as much low dollar items to try to get my average per item up. But it's 1537, down 3.4. And I did see this past week just a lot of low dollar media moving. Not that that's a bad thing, because it's kind of saved me, but like the mid-level, like a couple of the items here that I actually did sell overnight, just didn't seem to be moving. So I don't know. So we will see what goes on from here. So let's get into the top 5 items sold on eBay last week. All right. Coming in at number 5, dropping 1 spot from last week, we've got NCAA items. All the college, I guess college football or something's starting up, right? $200.57 sold, up 73%. Next up, music other formats, meaning 8-track tapes. Sold $212.54, down 38.9%. Number 3 on the list, as always, cassette tapes. $380, down 42%. Still haven't really put much, rarely any cassette tapes up for a good month now. And they've been holding steady at number 3. So when I've talked about in the past the consistency of my foundation materials to build the business on, that's the cassettes right now are an example of that. I maybe listed maybe 5 cassettes in the past month and a half, 2 months, give and take a few. They've been holding steady in my number 3 spot. So that's the consistency that I built my business on. And we got something there. 8-track tape. So I've been putting those 8-track tapes up that we picked up on the weekend in that video, Missouri back road picking video. So that's what's pushed that up into the top 5. And as I said in yesterday's video, the one alone I listed yesterday sold for $30. That paid for everything. So, and I've already sold others from that collection. So, number 2 on the list, still holding steady as always. CDs, music CDs, $723, down 12%. Haven't really been putting a lot of CDs up, mainly because I've been concentrating on clothing and hats and other odds and ends to try to get different people in. Put a lot of different Christmas stuff up, ornaments and stuff that Jan's been picking up, just to get some different lookers into the store. Plus, we're going into 4th quarter. And number 1, as always, men's hats. $1,258 last week, down 5%. So, want to take a guess on honorable mention number 6. I would say MLB, but the Cardinals are pretty much out of it, so that kind of stuff I feel slowed down. Man, I don't even know what to think here before I click on this. Number 6. I'm just going to guess T-shirts. Number 6. Oh, nope. NFL. Honorable mention number 6, NFL. $197 worth of NFL stuff sold last week, up 83%. Did not expect that. T-shirts is number 7. So that was one off. But I did not expect that NFL. I don't even recall NFL stuff. So, oh, my Rams guy. There it is. Because he spent, what, $80 or something with me? So that makes sense. There we go. So that is my top 5 with the honorable mention. So, very cool. All right, onward to the results of yesterday. So if you're not familiar, if you didn't see yesterday's video, doing a test playing off of Amy and Dan's The Hustle Couples test that they're running on their channel. You can view that there. So my test was to find an item that had 0 views halfway into the month, get no attention at all, and putting the link below so you guys could click on it. So that item started under best match listing. It was in the 250s. So I went 240 on the first page, went to the second page, and it was probably about 10 in. So it was around 250, 252, somewhere in there is where it's set on eBay. The odd thing is, I've got several dog mom hats in my store, and there were several up above it. There was two up above it. No, actually, 2 was up above it on the first page, and then the first row of the fourth page, at one time I had all 4 dog mom hats on the first row of the second page. They were all sponsored. All my listings were sponsored. Until I got to the one I shared the link of. It wasn't sponsored, and it was number 250-ish. Beyond these results, I have other questions, and these other questions kind of lead to what Amy and Dan are doing in their tests. So, I thought I wrote down hours. So after about an hour and a half, there was 47 clicks from 0 to 47, and it moved up 8 listings. After about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours, or no, sorry. The 47 clicks was after about 2 hours. And I think it moved up more than 8 listings. I was just guessing because it moved from the second page to the first page. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Instead of 10 on the second page, it may have been 6 or 7 on the second page. Somewhere in there. But anyway, it moved up to the first page, down at the bottom. And it was like about 6 from the bottom on a page of 240. So it moved into the 250s, just say into the 230s after the first couple of hours and 47 clicks. After 3 hours, it had 87 clicks, and it moved up to the number 2 spot out of 240. So dog mom hat, I think I put in the title. It was number 2 after 3 hours. So it took 3 hours for that and the clicks that it got, 87 clicks, to move it up to the top of the spot. At 87 clicks, it was going from number 2 to number 3, number 2 to number 3. After 5 hours, we were beyond 100 clicks, and I've had the number 1 spot since then. Right now, this morning, we were sitting at 229 clicks, still in the number 1 spot. So, what do we learn from this, and what was my other questions? Well, my other question is, during this whole time, the top 10, other than me coming up into it, stayed the same. Even this morning, it's still the same. So all those other items that are up there are there. They're just hanging out. They're not being, I checked many times throughout the day. They're not being swapped out with other sponsored listings. They're staying the same. Now, to me, I'm questioning this because I thought the whole job of Promoted was, and sponsored listing, is to get your items. Why are these items holding those spots all day long? And this is what I'm saying. goes to the question of what Amy and Dan are doing. They're trying to figure out how to stay on that top page, how to stay in those top spots. How are these items staying in these top spots? So I'm looking at them, trying to figure them out. So what did I learn from clicking on all these? I clicked on about 10 different ones. What did I learn from doing that? 99% of them are Midwest items. I'm in the Midwest. There was one California, one New York, and the rest were Midwest items. From Texas to Iowa, they were all Midwest items. Kind of goes into the whole theory, because we don't have answers, that location is a big part of the placement. That being said, still, why were those sponsored listings not switched out with other people's sponsored listings? There was the spot that was in number 1 moved to number 2, but it stayed sponsored. It didn't switch out with a sponsored listing from number 15, number 20, not even number 9 or 10. Why did that one hat and those top 4 hats stay so consistent all day long until I infiltrated it? I don't have the answer to that. They're all smaller sellers. Hell, even one had like 98% feedback, compared to the other ones, which were 99 to, 99 point something and 100. They were all definitely smaller sellers than I, of course, but there was maybe one that was, the person might have had a couple of thousand items in their store. The others I clicked on were lower sellers. So it goes into that theory. They're trying to have newer sellers' items move so that they stay on the platform. I don't know. But that being said, how fair is it for the top, we'll just call it the 2 rows, 8 items, to pretty much stay the same for a 24-hour period? And the only way I was able to infiltrate that, not by raising my promoted, because I went in and raised the promoted 4 points in the middle of the day to see if that would affect anything also, to get my other hats up into the mix, and it did not. Because after I knew mine had placement and was at the number 1 spot, I go, okay, I'm going to play with my promoted to see if it moves my other dog mom hats up, since I've got this one that's doing well. And it did nothing. So why are these items so set in stone in their position? And the only way I was able to, so far, to try to figure out how to beat them is the clicks on the page. I don't have the answers yet. So, what do I do from here on out? Well, how long will my item stay there? I guess that depends on how many views and how many more people click on that item from that video. But then what happens? Will it drop down to 2? Will it drop down to 8? Or will it just totally vanish? So next question is, we got 15 days till the end of the month when all the counts, view pages zero out again. What will happen to that item at the end of the month once it goes to 0? Am I just going to get pushed back to number 250 something again? Or because it got activity this month, will it get ranked a little bit higher? So that's another question to kind of keep an eye out for an answer on. But as of right now, I don't know. As of right now, it tells me you need external clicks to compete. That's what my first obvious reaction is. You need the external clicks to compete. Well, what gets you those external clicks? eBay's always had a share thing within social media cross-listing. Post it to Facebook, post it to Pinterest, whatever. I always use Pinterest, but I only use Facebook for experiments because I don't want to spam all my friends and family. and everybody. I spam them with YouTube videos instead now. So I played with the social media thing a little bit this morning because it's new. So I was able to hook up a page to it instead of my personal feed. So I've had my old Soul Cave page on Facebook where I used to do videos on this channel. You can go to the oldest videos and you'll see them. My shoe videos, when I was collecting shoes, had about 850 pairs, etc., etc. Well, I had a page for that, and it's got probably 3,000 to 4,000 people on that page. So I hooked that page up to eBay. I reconnected Pinterest. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to play with this. Well, let me pick 4 items. I'm like, well, this sucks. All I can do is 4 items. So I did the 4 items, put them on the Soul Cave page, which I think I'm going to probably just, if this works out, I might just change it to my Redoption Agency page, since my other one kind of got deleted one time when I deactivated my Facebook page to take a break. It deleted my whole reselling page that I had like 5,000-6,000 people on, and it just totally deleted it all. I'm like, well, I would have just took a break without deactivating my account if that was the case. When I was just kind of going through a lot of stuff with my dad, taking care of my dad, just mental being down. I think it was before Vern, when I was just at rock bottom, and I just wanted to take a break from social media. So that kind of disappeared. So if I turn my Soul Cave into the new business page for Redoption Agency, then I can share them there and not feel guilty about it. So that's another way to get external views. And then with the Pinterest too. The only problem is you could only click 4, hit share, which is fine. I went back to try to click 4 more and it wouldn't let me. I clicked them, but it wouldn't let me share 4 more. So I don't know if there's a time period in between you got to wait. Is it only once a day? I went to the feedback option, leave feedback. One of the options was to automatically share when you list an item. I clicked that. Boink. Send. If our items are going to be heavily relied on getting clicks, no matter what we promote at is not helping them to be seen on eBay, then we need to start generating our own momentum. One way to do that is to share the items on a page specifically for those items. If the page is public and you use hashtags, other people are probably going to see the items, not just the people on that page. So that's a positive also. If somebody clicks a hashtag, they might see that. So, and it gave me the option to click a bunch of pre-made hashtags, so that was good. That kind of played off of the items I was sharing, which was just 4 8-tracks, since I listed 8-tracks yesterday. So Elvis was one of them, so I got to click Elvis as a hashtag. So I liked where it's going, but it's the same place it was 6, 7, 8 years ago when it comes to sharing on Facebook and stuff. It's primitive. That needs a lot of work to bring that into the now where everything's just like kind of automatic. So this weekend I might look into other options and trying to think outside the box on ways like that. Also, on every video, do I put a featured item of the day? Just for curious people who are in my description and say, ooh, what's this? And click on it. Then that's an extra click that helps motivate that item. That's another way of doing it. It's a pain in the butt way. It's a slow way. It's only a 1-item thing way, but it's a way. Of course, I want to think bigger. I want to think, okay, is there any programs out there like Flip where I can share my eBay items onto social media platforms? Is there a program out there that will do that for me? I'm going to kind of look into that this weekend. Also, I'm trying to think of a good way to do it with YouTube. Obviously, I've got the newer channels that I'm trying to aim toward consumers. The hat channel, Dolly Does Everything, and the top 10 most expensive items sold on eBay, the channels. So all those are consumer-based driven, but you can learn from them as a reseller. Well, not really the Dolly Does Everything. It's more entertainment there. Goofy entertainment, but entertainment for me and maybe a few other weird-minded people. But so I would like to, I'm going to just think outside the box this weekend a little bit, do a little bit more research on sharing eBay listings, what's available for that out there. Because there's so many things that can click into eBay, the Vendu, Bonanza, different things like that, right? There's got to be something out there that will pull my items from eBay and share them somewhere, you would think. It seems like a pretty basic task when it comes to programming, not being a programming expert by any means. It seems like it would be very primitive compared to like a Vendu type of thing, where it takes a lot more code or whatever, to create that. Is there something within Vendu? This might be a suggestion for Vendu. Maybe it's already there and I haven't seen it yet. Is there something within Vendu that'll share my links on a social media platform? I'm going to look at that. If not, I'm going to throw that suggestion toward Vendu. That might be something they could capitalize on. And I'd pay $5 extra a month for that to happen. So that's where I'm at. That's where the test is so far. So obviously it's going to be a long-term test to see. The thing I'm looking forward to the most on that test is what happens when it zeroes out again. Where does it go? But what stinks during this test is being I am top rated. I've watched it throughout the day. When it comes to Dog Mom hats, I don't even remember now, at least 10, I think, in my store. I think there was 360 total. I have 10. But yet, my items were nowhere in contention at all, even with promoting it at 9%, and then I bumped them up to 15% yesterday after I knew I had the top spot to see if my others would climb, and they didn't. So even at 9 and or 15%, I'm not even in contention with all the other ones that are not even sponsored. None of my organics were, that one was my only organic, and it was 250 something. So why is my top rated status not pulling my organics up higher than they are? Questions that we don't and probably won't get answers for. I did see the video Kevin put out about he got to talk to a higher up in eBay. And he was felt very satisfied with it. Plus, he's going to put out a video giving more details on that. So I took it as this. I always play both sides of the cord, both sides of the table. And here's the way I look at that. This guy either cares, or B, he's trying to put out a fire on YouTube. And everybody talking about the issues. One of the two is going on. If you start getting more, going into fourth quarter, you start getting more positive comments going, oh, there's hope now, there's hope now. Then that's going to bring maybe the level of distrust with eBay down or quiet it for a little bit. So it's either putting out that fire for short term, or there's really good intent there. We'll see which one it turns out to be. So you got to play both sides. I am not going to jump on that bandwagon saying, oh, I am totally optimistic. Things are going to change now. Woo, I am happy. No, it could just be that's his job to put out fires. And that's what he's doing. He's turning down the heat for a little bit for whatever reasons. Just for the short term that the eBay site's crappy and they know it and they're working on it. So they're just trying to lower the heat a little bit until it gets fixed, or they actually really care and they want to put out some fires. I will always be skeptical and I will always be optimistic. So it's not changing my view. Am I optimistic that they're at least talking? Yes, of course, 100%. Do I think there's maybe ulterior motives, more self-centered based on eBay side? Yes. That's business. That's big business. That's what I would be doing if I was in that position and I was, like, say, VP of marketing or whatever. I'd be like, okay, we got a lot of negative out there. How can I put out this fire as quickly or start suppressing it as quickly as I can? Well, let me just reach out to one of the biggest YouTubers, and that there alone will be optimism. And that might turn down the heat a little. That's what I would do in that position. Now, like I said, was there good intent behind it, or was there selfish intent behind it? That will be seen in the long term, but I'm not jumping on the, I'm still going to be saying what it is, what's going on, and how crappy it is until it's fixed. So, and like I said, I love eBay. eBay's always been number one for 22 years, and they forced me to cross-list. They forced me to cross-post. They forced me to concentrate on YouTube algorithms over eBay algorithms. They've forced this hand upon me after 22 years because nothing makes sense right now, especially just what I talked about. Top-rated seller, all my numbers are beautiful, 22 years of doing this, but yet I am heavily suppressed. Why am I heavily suppressed? When my sales were golden on eBay before all this stuff, in a top 240 adjustable hat page, I had 15 to 20 hats. Now I'm lucky if I have one. And of course, it's sponsored if there is one. And I have probably about 6 to 7% of the market share in adjustable baseball hats. To have that high a percentage, but yet get suppressed so greatly when I do everything close to perfect, why is that? Questions. I want answers. eBay don't give you the answers, so you got to try to figure out the answers. So I'm going to be watching, obviously, Amy and Dan's tests, see if they can keep that item up there. And I think it's going to, for the same reason mine's going to, at least for the rest of this month, is because people are interacting with the item. I'd be curious to know how their clicks went up on those items compared to where they used to be, or like items of a different size since they're doing a certain size point. I'd be curious to see if their page views jumped drastically, like mine did on my test. So we'll see at the beginning of next month what happens to that item and where it goes. And we'll probably be back to square one trying to figure out at least why the hell am I suppressed so much when I do everything right. All right, moving on. Because we already talked 35 minutes into this. So let me just see if there's a couple of questions or comments to do a little topic, and then I'll get to shipping. See if there's anybody wants to add anything to this topic or a different topic to talk about. Like I mentioned in another video, I'm not getting notifications of your videos. I just got this one 6 days later. yes, I don't know what's going on with YouTube. There's a lot of problems going on with YouTube, I've noticed. You're not the only one saying this. I've got several of you guys who are saying that my videos are not popping up in notifications when you got notifications on. I do notice every time I go in, when I upload a video and try to change things or do things, if you don't have videos, you won't see this, but like everything's airing out. Monetization is not working properly. When you click on the page to try to edit, sometimes the edit will sit there and not update, or it'll sit there and say it's not updating, and then you refresh the page and it's updated. So YouTube appears to have a lot of back-end problems going on too right now. And it reminds me just of eBay. I'm getting eBay PTSD putting videos up on YouTube right now because there's so many errors trying to turn on monetization, to trying to change the title, to everything part of the YouTube seems to be having issues right now. And that's been going on for about a week now. So just, I guess, hang tight, because they're usually quicker with fixing their problems than eBay, obviously. But this one, it hasn't been fixed quick like the other ones have. So there's definitely a lot of issues going back on with that, with YouTube. Clicked. I also saw a lot of people were watching it, so I went ahead and watched it too. Yes, I noticed that too. A lot of watchers. So I'm curious to see if the watchers carry over into next month, and if that helps bring it up also. So that could be another factor in play. More than likely, it's probably going to lead to more questions, but at least we're out here trying. And the results that we get, me, people like Amy and Dan, we're going to share those with you guys to help you with your situations. So, as much as I appreciate you guys helping, both of us, keep in mind that we share it all with you, so it's going to benefit you. Anything positive we can find is going to benefit you guys also. That being said, please like this video. I've got to start saying that more, because I know it's so easily to forget. Because when I watch videos, or even in live, I don't even think about liking the video until somebody mentions it, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then, just like me, it should be second nature me saying it, so you guys do it, because I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks like that or doesn't think. So please like this video for me. I'd appreciate that. So I do a lot of talking, so for my vocal cords, please like this video. I still think they just unplug servers. You can't fix a car while it's running. Maybe you can't fix eBay. That has been one perspective that a lot of people have talked about. Say eBay is a car going down the road at 100 miles an hour, and you're trying to fix it at the same time. Is a nice way to put it. I also have noticed, even though I've said I've got no server errors or system errors or server failures, there is the one consistent new problem, and I'm not the only one because it's all over the tech board also, is that when you click on something, instead of going to the action that it's going to, it's saying that action failed, basically. Just a white page with little black print up at the top, which could technically still be like a server error or system failure. It's just being shown in a different way, which could lead to, hey, it's not you, it's us page. That's causing more problems on YouTube with the viewers or with the video makers than it's doing any good. So let's not run that page no more, because it's saying there are server issues. So people on YouTube are crying there's server issues, right? Well, how do you put out that fire? Well, you change that page from the server, this was a server failure, it's not you, it's us, to a white blank page with just little random message at the top that's very easy to miss. Well, this might hush the crowd a little bit, put out, suppress the fire a little bit. You see where I'm going with this? I don't trust, it's not that I don't trust big business, I understand it. And and I'm not even educated to understand. I understand common sense. Let's just put it that way. I understand common sense. If common sense was a college graduate course, I'd have a master's degree. Okay, I understand common sense. I understand business a little bit because I've been learning for 22 years. Putting two and two together, if I was in that position, those are the two things I would do. This helps try to suppress the negativity, because guess what? The more we talk and the more about the issues, the more that stock price goes down. The stock price ain't going down. It doesn't always just go down because the sales go down. It can go down because of the outlook of something. So if you manipulate the market, manipulate the negative, you can in turn kind of manipulate the market. So I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying I look at all sides. That's all I'm saying. But I still don't understand why I'm so suppressed when I do everything right and been doing it for 22 years right. I don't understand that. And that's frustrating. That's so many smaller sellers with worse feedback and probably worse numbers and not as quick ship time gets precedent over me. I'm not happy about that. I'd be happy with sharing it, but I'm not getting my share of it. Who's Josh with 14,000 items and no sales? Josh Galt, G-A-L-T. He does a live almost every day around 1 Central Time, I believe. He's had some days with 0, with 14,000 items. Okay, let's read this last one and then I'll move on to some shipping. James, you were doing really good. That all you had to do was cut your payments in half for 2 months. Yes. This is the first month I haven't yet made my bill money for next month. I am not paying myself. There's no money to go sourcing. And I have about 5 totes of Christmas stuff left to list and stuff just laying around. Grocery money is $20 a week for the two of us. It's fun. It's like going back in childhood. We were both brought up poor. We are having discussions about what we ate when we were kids. We did put out a large garden this year and far from starving. We aren't stressing over money, even though we have savings and own the house. At least we have an inside toilet. Great way of looking at it. And this is the biggest reason I share everything that I can, and I do it for free. I hate these courses crap. I understand. Look, I understand if you do it, you're trying to build your wealth. I understand you got to be selfish at some things in business. But that's just not me. I can't do that because of, I feel honored to be in the position I am in. Could I be selfish and be in a higher position with more money and living extravagant? Yes, easily, by charging you guys X amount of money every month to give you the information I give you. And then I could actually sit down, structure it, make it look like a business, or make the information into a business, have it structured, do Zoom calls, everything, because I am getting paid to do that. And could I be living an extravagant life because of that? Yes. But I'm happy with what I have. I'm content. And I prefer to help people. Will that eventually bite me in the butt? Hell yeah. Do I believe that maybe karma will come back around and repay me one day? Yeah. Hopefully. Maybe. Either way, as long as I am content and I can help somebody in some form or way without them suffering by pulling money out of their pocket, I'd rather do that. All right, let's go. I was going to make other points on that, but I think that was enough and that was good. But yeah, that's me. I gotta say, me too, when it comes to like I could live off $3 a day. Just give me 2 cans of SpaghettiOs a day, SpaghettiOs and meatballs, and I'll be fine. You know, I can live off $3 a day if I have to. Nope, and wouldn't think anything of it. So, because for me, it's about keeping your mind busy over keeping your belly full. The people who have more the way I can, and I'm just making this up as I'm going along. It seems like the people who have more active minds when it comes to staying busy, doing things, whether that's running a business, exercising, helping others, whatever. They have more time on their mind hours than their belly hours. And then you have people who eat more than they think, less. So you can kind of, I'm sure that's not 100% across the board, but maybe a higher percentage than what some would think. Because like I could literally, if my mind's going and I am doing busy all day, and my mind's like this and do this and try that, I could go hours without even eating and not even realizing, oh, I need to eat something for fuel. And then you eat a little bit for fuel and then you're back at it. Instead of saying, oh, it's breakfast. Let me sit down, watch TV, whatever, eat breakfast, back up. Oh, it's lunchtime. Let me sit down, watch TV, eat dinner or lunch. Oh, it's dinner. You know, I eat 1, maybe 2 times a day. And that's just for fuel to get me through. Now, when my mind was depressed, the food meant more. And I would sit down and eat. Like, I'm kind of bored. I'm going to go eat something. So, boredom leads to overeating. Active minds lead to undereating. So I guess it depends on how your body, neither one of them's healthy. So I guess it depends on finding that balance in between. Okay, well, since I pulled, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 items paid for. Another 8-track I put up last night, sold for $420, so that's good. But let's ship these out. That item is international. See if there's any other international in here. 1. So got a couple of international to get. And we got a couple of Poshmark to ship out. All right, first up, get this out of the way first because might fit in one of these 2 boxes. If you watched my video over the summer, my yard sale videos, where I picked up the vintage Hot Wheel round tub of stuff. 2 more items sold. I put these in a lot together. They sold for $17.50, headed to San Martin, California. This one might be too small. Yeah. Don't want it to get broke if the box gets smashed a little. So let's try this. Nice. Yeah. These will work. These should work. Need some room though. Need some room. On some paper. Today's Friday. I think I'm gonna go buy an ATM, get some money. Maybe look for a couple of yard sales. I know there's a couple tomorrow. And maybe hit a thrift store. Just look for higher dollar, quick moving items. Just to kind of get out of the house a little bit. See if I can find anything. Why not? Da, 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 da. Like yesterday, I ate bad. I had some fried chicken from KFC. But then bought also I saw they had the hot wings, which are not really hot, but they were, I remember them being okay. Season-wise, basically. So, I don't know if I got it. I don't know which. Jan went in and bought them, so I don't know if I got an 8-piece or 10-piece or whatever. But that'll probably be my weekend meals. Like, I'll go in when I'm hungry, eat one little drummy, and go back to work. A few hours later, if I get hungry again, eat one more little drummy. So it'll probably last me all weekend. That'll be my weekend meal. Not good for you, but at least I'm not overeating, you know. It's not grilled chicken, but it doesn't really have to be if you don't overeat. So just trying to shrink the inner tube. Shrink the inner tube. 17, 14, 7. 17, 14, 7. Howdy, howdy, ho. Oh, wow. It's only $10 to go to California? Nice. I'll make sure I got everything right. Did not expect only $10.68. Greg. Okay. You move. Go here. All right. Next up, we've got Sandy Posey 45 record. Headed to Pennsylvania. Sold for $4. And remember that label, MGM. Okay. I knew I grabbed that. That was crooked. Crooked. 5, 6 by 6 by 1. Tobin. So next up, by a different customer in California. So for $4.20, we got Eric Burden on the same label of the 45. What are the odds of that? Selling right after each other, same label, two opposite ends of the country. Maybe I buy a lottery ticket today. Maybe that's a sign for something greater. All right. 5. In the person's name spot, they got their address. So the address is twice. Okay. If it'll print that way, that's the way you're getting it. Boink. All right, next up. Be your own pet. I'm sure there are a lot of people who pet themselves, you know, I mean. CD, so for $4. Headed to New York. New York. And by pet yourself, I mean combing your hair. All right, tree. Sid. What up, Sid? Sid Vicious. Next up, we've got Metallica. The Metallica shirts. Saw Suicidal opening for him on the show, that YouTube video where Robert from Metallica, he used to be in Infectious Grooves and stuff. So with Infectious Grooves is basically another version of Suicidal, with, if you know, you know. And he came up and did a Suicidal song. He may have had a stint in Suicidal too. I mean, he played with Mike in Infectious Grooves, so probably. Haven't really paid that close attention to band swap out members in Suicidal. So headed to California, sold for $10.50. Jose Cuervo. Next up, we've got Hindu Love God self-titled cassette tape. Sold for $6.30. Headed to New Jersey. Oh, today, I will put it in the community section, or you can go check it out. Aurora Squirrel and Angie Resells. In the Let's Do Lunch podcast, I will be on there today. That video comes out today. So I want to be the highest video on their channel. So I have to be over 5,000 views on that video. Who's got the lead so far? What's her name? Blue Ridge Mama or something of that nature. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about if you know. She's got 5,000 views, which is far more than any of the other videos. I want that #1 spot, so I need your guys' help. I want that #1 spot. Yeah. Richard. I want that #1 spot. Plus, it'll help out their channel, too. Okay, next up, we've got a Lowe's hat. Headed to Manfield, Pennsylvania. Sold for $9. I want that #1 spot. I want that #1 spot. So make sure you watch that video, like it, comment on it, tell them I sent you. That could be your comment. Something of that nature. Or comment whatever you want. Help that video spark some views, because then maybe that might come back and help this channel with people who don't know my channel. Watch that and go, oh, I'm going to watch his channel too. It's all about helping each other out in this community. Us on video, we try to help you any way we can with information, and any way we can save you money on affiliates and stuff like that. And then the way you guys can help is make sure you like the videos and play them in the background. So I have videos playing when I'm not even in the room, just so they can do what they do. I walk in, Jan's computer's playing like Dolly videos on loop or something. Like, and she'll start watching one and walk away, and they'll just keep playing all of them. It's so funny. So I've been doing that on mine. Just if I go to the post office, I'll just click on somebody's video and let it play while I'm gone. Next up, we got some Wrangler denim jeans. That's like 2 of me. 58 waist. 58 32s. Sold for $15. Headed to Colorado Springs, Colorado. really fold this up. Boink. That's why I think it's very selfish when you get these comments on videos. When I try something new or something different and somebody starts bitching, well, I don't watch this channel for this. Well, you know what? I am not giving my information out for free for you. You know, it's like, shut up. Like, you don't have to like everything on a channel. Stop being so damn selfish and just all it's about is take, you know? Doesn't matter if I want to, you know, if the person who's on the video wants to try something different for their own creative mind because they're, you know, doing the same thing over can be very boring after a while, or just getting complacent or whatever, you know, kind of the way I was. Just felt like, you know, I was spinning my wheels basically and wasn't getting no thrill out of it, other than it may help somebody. But you know, it's got to be stimulating, you know. It has to be, because then it's work if it's not, you know. So yeah, the people who complain about that, I'm just like, stop being such a selfish ass and shut up. Like, good Lord, you don't. It's about just being supportive, period. Good. That's like the same people who care about who you vote for. Stop being selfish. People are people. Let them do what they do. They do it for a reason. McDonald's employee advisor. And hopefully the reason is something other than anger or hate. Sold for $8, headed to Dallas. Because doing something out of anger or hate, it's not going to lead nobody in a good direction. It's just not. All right. Jenna. And then the last US piece, at least for eBay, we've got David Bowie Hunky Dory. Early pressing cassette, sold for $30. What I can tell, see, if I don't have one to compare it to, it's hard for, here's actually an RCA title to compare it to. You see how this one looks older? You have a bigger RCA label print than the one that's under there. Here you've got the two on top of each other, where here it's all one. This RCA label obviously has a barcode. This one does not. And then you look at the front here, and a lot of times these older ones have the picture more squared with information here and information here. So when you see those older RCA ones if they're on a shelf like this, and you see how they're all one instead of two, pull it out, check it out, look it up, whatever you got to do. Oh, it don't have a barcode? Definitely let me look it up. Easiest way to look at these up, because if you type in David Bowie Hunky Dory, a bunch of different versions may come up. The best way is to put in that stock number. Best place to do it is Discogs, quickest, easiest, or Google, and the Discogs is usually the first one if you type in the stock number along with the name. So $30. But I need to put a sponge on this one. Doctor, Dr. James, reporting for duty. And by duty, I don't mean pooping. You're reporting for duty. He said duty. He said duty. Are you ready for this? I think we're on number 4, number 5 of these damn children coming by and taking my money and making me fat. And I'm buying $15 worth of candy from another kid yesterday. Good Lord. I ain't just too nice. I just need to be like, give me one, give me two. Like, no. Let me see how much cash I got laying around. Oh, $15? Give me 15. What do you got? Give me caramel first, milk chocolate second. Fill in the rest with whatever. But the kids leave so happy. I can't believe it. Thank you. Because normally, I guess people don't just buy whatever. If I have enough money, I buy the whole damn box. Oh, damn kids. Stay away from my house with your candy. Because it just sits in my office and I go, ooh. This girl was on her last box. All I had was $15, so I couldn't buy the whole box. Thought you would be 3. And that's Matt. But it is good to see at least. I mean, the only kids we used to get doing that every year is the neighbor kids. But now I've had the last three were riding their bikes around the neighborhoods doing it. So I'm happy to see that. They're outside, they're on their bike, they're going door to door selling. I mean, you got to support that, especially in 2023 with kids. It shows them that putting in effort, they're going to get something out of it, you know. You got to support that these days. I always have before, but now more than ever. Because, you know, kids just stay inside playing games or whatever, or on their phones all day. So it's refreshing to see. So she sat down, started going through them, so I sat down on the porch with her. We're on the ground, concrete. She's piling through. Her phone's there. You know, her box is here. The candy's dumped out so she can pull out the caramel ones first. It was funny. I'm just thankful I'm in a position where I can say, buy as much as I can. I don't have to say, oh, just give me a couple. So, that makes me happy. Makes me happy. Jenna. Jenna, Jenna. Jenna, Jenna. Jenna, Jenna, Jenna. Oh, Jenna. I'm trying to write a Jenna song, obviously. For some reason, I like the way that name's rolling off my tongue right now. Jenna. Oh, Jenna, Jenna. Jenna. It's better than Richard. Richard. Jenna, Jenna. Richard's a hard song. Oh, Richard. Well, it doesn't sound as fun. Oh, Richard. What you doing to me? Oh, Richard. Your ugly name's easy to see. Oh, Richard. I'm playing. If you're watching this and your name's Richard, I didn't mean your name's ugly. That's just the first thing that popped in my head. I apologize if I offended you. Please don't be sensitive. But I am liking the cha-ching, so I got to see where my dollar amount is before we end this. And I know I'm way over where I should be, but I've got 2 international and 2 posh to go. More box. A 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 box. Boom. Refresh the data. Refresh that data. Yeah. Refresh that data. Refresh that data. Yeah. Refresh that data. Hunting is not a sport, it's a way of life. Hat going to the UK, sold for $9.50. Hunting is not a sport. Hunting, it's a way of life. Hunting, you better eat your kills or you're an asshole. Hunting. St. Louis Stray Rescue got this dog and apparently was beat in the head. They're going to have to remove an eye because there's a broken eye socket. The face is just all swollen. She made it through the night. They had to feed tube her because she can't eat. So sad. How people can do that. I just can't comprehend not having any level of empathy. Is that the right word? For just innocent animals. God, if I ever seen somebody doing that, I swear I'd go to jail. Because it would not end well. I guarantee that. If I ever seen anybody hurting a dog or hurting a child, I would be in jail for my actions. Because I don't care. I am going to be there for that innocent soul, no matter the outcome. That's number one on my list of things I do not stand for. Hurting an animal and hurting a kid. Innocence is too precious in a world full of ugliness. So I appreciate and admire and love the innocence. And will protect it as best as I can if I need to. Next up, we got some Aeropostale chuckas. Headed to Mexico. Sold for $12. So there's an 80% chance these will not make it. And I'll be refunding them. Actually, the last item actually did make it. Did I forget to take my paper? That's not my paper. That's Scott towels that look generic and look dirty. Take those out. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Young man. Dun, 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 young man. Polybag hoodie is the size I need. $111. $12. Okay. Use shoes. 11, 12. And now we get to Too Posh out of the way. Oh, I got an offer here. CD, I got $17.50. You're offering me $15. Sold. I like those kind of offers. Take them any day of the week. Without a second thought. All right, first up, we've got the Cintas hat. That sold for $8. You can print this while you're doing it, James. Headed to Michigan. Michigan. And we got one more item, and then I will leave you be. And I apologize for taking up an extra portion of your time that I usually don't plan on. But I did a lot of talking today. Whether we got anything out of it or not, that's another discussion within itself. Next up, we've got one of two crystal down hats I put up a couple days ago. And if you watch my hat channel, you'll see this hat in one of the videos. Sold for $12. I don't know why I'm so gassy or burpy today, airy. Chicken usually doesn't do that to me, so I'm not sure why. I did get Powerade Zero Fruit Punch because that's easier to find than the Gatorade Zero Fruit Punch. It's the only thing I can think differently into my system. Alrighty, all my lovely viewers, I appreciate if you're still around at this time. Much love. You are my hardcore, and I appreciate my hardcore viewers. Print scan form. Hardcore. Generate that scan form today. Generate that scan form now. Generate that scan form, yeah. Don't forget the pirate ship. Scan form now. Alright, so I got print 2 for today and 2 from yesterday, last night. So 4 international in the last 24. Yes, that's right. Brain fart. And this one. Booty bam. All right. Let me check my number real quick just in case you were waiting for that. I do apologize. So we're at 9:50, headed at 10 o'clock, and I'm at 2:03. So pretty good start for the day. I hope it does continue. I don't expect it to. I expect it to turn off somewhere between 2 and 5, like normal, but hopefully it doesn't today. Hopefully it surprises me. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all. You ready, girl? There's Courtney. I'll see you all in the next video. Later.